So we move from pick and place machines to the outside world. We're going to move to the company Treesense. Treesense is a German startup, and joining me on the stage is Alba. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Give you the microphone there, and the stage is yours. Oh, for the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking your time to hear me out today. My name is Alba, and I'm a business developer at Treesense. I want to start off today with an exercise to you all. I want you to imagine that trees could talk. Well, that's what we're doing with Treesense. We're trying to build a sensor technology to understand the world of trees. Today's understanding of trees is comparable to that of human medicine 200 years ago. Despite of the increased relevance of climate change, technological potentials are still not fully exploited to maintain the ecosystem. That's why we enable our customers to integrate sensor technology and data analysis to maintain their day-to-day organization for trees, whether that it's urban or private development, forestry, or agriculture. I always like to start up with a very frightening number, that only 1 out of 5 trees in Germany are healthy. That's really frightening also for me to think that 1 out of 5 trees are healthy and the others aren't. So the trees of planet Earth are suffering, and we want to reduce this number. The maintenance of the trees for the moment is quite complicated. City administrations that own the trees, they either have their own employees or they contract a gardener to take care of their trees. And we see a big problem here, which is the flow of information, that they're not transparent for each party and it simply takes too much time. That's why 5% of the trees are cut down yearly, and we should always keep in mind that about 5,000 euros would cost for a replaced tree. So we experience that trees are dying. We have more and more cuttings each year. That's why we simply want to improve this inefficient process. So simply put together, we want tree owners to get more healthy trees with less effort. So we developed a wearable for trees. Our sensors gathers real-time data for a living tree. It's as big as a conventional smartphone. We screw it into the branch of a tree with 2 5-millimeter long screws, and that go to the xylem part of the tree, and we measure the electrical resistance. The xylem part of the tree is the part where the water goes from down to the tree to the crown. And we, depending on where we put the sensor, we can then see that the value changes. What does that mean? The more active the tree, the more water in the xylem, the more water, the lower the electrical resistance. We also have our Treesense cloud, where we put the data about the tree together, we analyze it. We also show the curves, and we then translate it into a traffic light system so that it's easier to understand and you don't always have to interpret the curves. We now think that with one sensor we can represent 10 trees. So if we have 100 sensors, we could represent 1,000 trees, and that translated into maintenance costs that we would reduce would be 200,000 euros a year. And we haven't talked about the ecological benefits yet. We would reduce much more air pollution, CO2, and we could also preserve more water from the rain. We sell our sensor for about 350 euros, and we also charge for our cloud monthly. That would be 5.80 euros per month. But depending on the scale of the project, if we have a lot of sensors, let's say 100, that number would drop down. We also have a raw data expert where we are super individual in the solution since we're still a startup. We see further potential in our solution. We also will try to prevent forest fires in the future. And last but not least, due to the climate change, our market potential for tree monitoring is enormous. So who are we again? We are a startup. We're 1 year old. We're a team of 5, and we also have strong support from our students. We are now getting into the next step of our company, where we have contracted our first big size project with 100 sensors for 2 years. I want to end my pitch with a question to you all. What do you think trees will tell you if they could talk? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Alba, for the introduction to Treesense. I think if trees could talk, they'd probably say, "I'm very thirsty, please take more care of me." And what I can certainly agree with is this is a big challenge. I like to sit with my daughter sometimes watching television, and she's a big fan of the octonauts. And the octonauts regularly tell us that, this problem with tree health has a huge impact on the planet and all the animals and everything else that live under that canopy. So fantastic. Justin's back with us again with a microphone. Oh no, Justin's replacement's here with a microphone. We're going to take some questions from the audience now. In the front row we have our jury. I don't know if CJ at the end there has a first question.
Sure. So that unit right there, I mean, how long would that be out in the wild? So and then also maybe if you could talk a little bit about like the battery power or something.
Yeah, so if we have solar panels inside, that means it is supplied by the sun. But if we didn't have sun at all and we put our sensor in the dark, it would last 250 days. So yeah, but it lasts like up to, I don't know, until now 5 years. It's still
super. Any more questions from our audience? We've got ones from Jens here.
Is there the option that you get some subsidiary, for example, from the European Union? Because it's very ecological.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
A
Some
kind
sort
of subsidiary?
Some support, financial support.
Support.
From funds for sustainability.
No, for the moment we don't have. We're completely alone. But of course we're always looking for opportunities to expand our startup and get bigger.
Fantastic. I think we have another question here from Eric.
Yeah, I can see the urban application, right? So of course there's owners of trees then, and they want to keep their trees healthy. But what are your ideas on the majority of the trees that are in forests and not owned particularly by a person or company?
Yeah, so we are currently working a lot with smart cities. So our idea is to get in contact with smart cities and really like save bigger parts of trees, not just gardeners who have 10 trees, let's say, but really people who grow it in enormous amounts of trees, and cities. That's our ideal customer, actually, smart cities, and that's where we're trying to
and
move
about
our
forests,
business.
like larger forests, what can you guys bring to save? I mean, you cannot water a forest, right?
No, but we can observe them, and we can see when they need to be watered, because the problem is if they are not watered that they could die. And also for big forests, it's very wide away, but we will try to prevent fires. Like with forests, the only thing we could do is fire.
Okay,
Prevent.
thank you very much.
We have one last question here from CJ.
One more. Yeah, I saw on the presentation you're using those screws to kind of go inside. What about if you have a huge tree? I don't know if water's going up that
So
depth
we
all
always
the time, or
put it in a branch, like not in the tree trunk, but in a branch, and we look for a place in the tree where we want to observe until where we want the water to go. So this is for what branch we are trying to go to put our sensor and then monitor it. That it could, in every size of a tree we can just put it. It's very individual.
So there we have it from Treesense. Alba there explaining their technology with their tree sensors, allowing the environment around us to tell us how they're doing. So thank you very much.